It's my time. New year, new Mr. Gellis. That's another 365 for me to shit up on your melon. That's a whole nother vibe to take to shake you out your skeleton. 52 weeks to bring the heat and I ain't sweating it. Whole last season smoking tree like it was medicine. COVID-19 quarantine wasn't stressing it. I done made the best shit of my life and now I'm flexing it. Know that if y'all put me in my hole, I come out better, bitch, and that's word of my brethren.
Welcome to the 2Ds and an F podcast with your hosts, Jay and Mikey.
All right, Scotty, my boy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Scotty. You're Jay's brother?
I am Jay's brother.
Okay, I knew Jay pretty well.
Yeah, a lot of people know Jay. Especially in that area. Everybody knows Jay.
Yeah, good old Jay Smoker.
He's a silly dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually had a silly dream about him the other night. Me and him were sitting on a park bench in the Alps somewhere in like Germany or Austria.
Really?
Sitting on a park bench next to, also there was a train station there, and I was there to tell him that dude, the band is done. We're not playing anymore. Like, I'm only here out of respect. Like, I traveled all the way here to see you face to face to tell you.
Fired him on a park bench. Dude.
No, I think it was just me and him. Like, dude, we got to give up. We got to give up.
Hey, try not to suck any dick on the way through the parking lot.
Yesterday was his birthday, actually.
Oh shit!
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta call that. I gotta call that dude. I haven't talked to him. I talked to him a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Seemed to be doing all right. But
yeah, he's doing good.
Good. So so we haven't heard from you for a while. I mean, I think the music community as a whole haven't heard from you in a while. What's you want to bring us up to date a little bit about, like the last 2 years, like what's been going on?
Well, obviously, like 3.5 years ago, I had a little bit of a health hiccup. Right after basically the last tour that we did, we got diagnosed with brain cancer. So that obviously put a little hold on anything, really, because it's not a good one. It's not one. You definitely don't want to get brain cancer. You definitely don't want to get the type that I had.
Yeah.
And they say that you never get rid of it. I always talk about it in present tense because I don't think the fucker exists in my head. I had a really successful surgery, and I did a ton of lifestyle changes, and really have been spending the last 3.5 years getting healthier than I've ever been. I went from, they were telling my wife that I want to be able to tie my shoes.
Jesus.
Right, to like I run marathons and shit now.
What was going through her head? Did you guys ever talk about that? Like sit down and have a good conversation about it?
Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of conversations, but I mean, it was more, I think
it's a rough one to deal with.
I think it hit her harder than it hit me. Like when they told me, I had like a moment of grief, right? But like the way it happens is I went in, right, had the surgery, and then you have to wait for a couple weeks to get the biopsy. Like they have to send the biopsy out and tell you what you had and all that. And that was the worst part for me, right? Like not knowing. But I was like talking to the big man upstairs, whoever that may be. I was like, listen, dude, you know, let me get through this. I'll put the work in.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for a handout. I'll bust my ass. And instead of waiting for an answer, I just started busting my ass. Right. So I was already getting myself mentally prepared for the worst. And then when they sat us down, they were like, you have the worst. It's glioblastoma is what it's called, right? And it's like one of the fucking worst of the worst. And it, I think it hit my wife a little bit harder, just because all of a sudden, we've got 3 kids. She's gonna be, stuck with 3 kids and one salary. And, it's just all that kind of stuff. It hit pretty hard. So, I stayed home for a month, like out of work. I stayed home from work for a month. And all I did was play with the kids. And at the time, our now 5-year-old was just like, he was just turned 2, and he was like just starting to really talk
Know
and
who you are.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he kind of became like a little comedian, right? Like he wouldn't let me be upset, and I kind of knew I was going to be okay. And I was like, this kid was just making me laugh so much. I forgot that I was even sick, you know?
Maybe that's where you got your strength from, I mean, I think if I was in your situation, I wouldn't know anything about it, but I think that's where I would get it from. I have a 2-year-old as well right now.
Right.
Yeah, I find a lot of strength in him. Definitely.
Yeah. I
Pushing.
mean, looking at the 3 boys and looking at Honey, my wife's name is Honey. I'm not being cute by calling her Honey. That's her legit name.
I called my wife a clod today for not putting enough gas in the car. Happy International Women's Day.
There you go.
At least she didn't drive away with the pump stuck in the tank. It's happened a couple times to us.
Anyway.
But yeah, dude, no, they gave me a ton of, like, I was just like, I'm not leaving. Like, I'm a hard-headed motherfucker, and I'm not leaving. And I'm going to do whatever I need to do to stick around. And I keep telling my oncologist this. I'm like, I have at least 3 graduations I have to make it to. Right? I'm not taking a no for an answer on that. So I I really like didn't worry about playing music at all, even though the first thing I did when I woke up after the surgery was I started singing Poison Heart, the Ramones song.
Yeah.
Right.
So wait, so hold on. They thought that you coming out of the surgery will kind of lose some of your memory or some of who you are?
Dude, no, they said, so before I went into surgery, okay, they told me that the best outcome I would have coming out of surgery was the way I was going into surgery. So I couldn't talk. I couldn't like read or write. I couldn't use my right hand. Couldn't
When you
walk.
went into surgery?
When I went into surgery, I couldn't use the right side of my body. I didn't know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Damn, so it was really bad at that point.
It was horrible, man. It was like, dude, I forgot how to drive a car. I couldn't read because I couldn't understand letters. Right? Like I'm dyslexic anyway, but I legit couldn't understand. Like letters just look like
just shapes.
Like shapes, yeah. Like not even Arabic.
Did you recognize family members and stuff like that?
Yeah, I recognized people, but I couldn't talk, and like I couldn't have conversations. Like I could think of the words, but I couldn't figure out how to say words, right? I
Wow.
was fucked up, dude. And they told my wife that that was the best I was gonna be. I'd probably be a little bit worse.
And when you got out of
When I came
surgery,
out of
you were
surgery.
singing.
So when I came out of surgery, the first thing I did was sing Poison Heart. And like I just started singing it to myself and I was like, okay, I can sing. What else can I do? And I just kind of started doing this little checklist, and my speech wasn't, fantastic, but it was there because the pressure from them taking the tumor out like relieved a lot of the symptoms kind of like immediately. And I
I
remember
can't believe it works. It works that fast. So that tumor was putting enough pressure in a spot in your brain that
it
maybe you
was the
weren't
whole
getting.
it was the whole front side of, so
That's a big tumor.
it was 2 inches.
That's huge.
It was 2 inches. Like if you see the pictures of it, there's pictures of it
Did you
online.
keep it?
Oh yeah, the picture of the
You got it in
tumor.
like a jar right now? The tumor.
No, I was thinking about it, but
Or they have to test it
they,
maybe or something like that.
they sent it out. They had to send it
Yeah.
out to the Mayo Clinic to have it tested and see what it was. And actually, came back that I had a super tumor. So not only did I have the big nasty glioblastoma, right? I also had this little fucker on the tail end of it that was like this super, like glioblastoma is already pretty rare, but I had this tail end of it that was a different kind of tumor that's more rare than glioblastoma and could travel into my spine, right? So um, I had like this fucking super tumor, and yeah, it was nasty. So they had to send that out to the Mayo Clinic, and they actually had it tested twice because they were like, "There's no way he has both of these," and I would definitely had both of them.
So it was almost like 3 strikes, you're out. You only got 2. You were
Right.
just sitting back waiting for that 3rd strike? Or, like, how was that? Like, just sitting back and, like, waiting for them to test this thing? Or did you not
Well,
care at that point? You just got you got kinda your, you know, yourself back a little bit?
well, when I came out of surgery, it took 2 weeks for them to really tell me what it was. They told me when I came out of surgery, they're like, "We think it's cancer. We don't know what kind of cancer." Um, I waited 2 weeks, and that sucked, right? Because I'm already like, they're like, there's cancers that are easy to treat, there's kinds that are impossible to treat, and they're like, we just have to wait and see. So waiting those 2 weeks fucking sucked. And
Yeah,
then
I
it
bet.
was almost it wasn't a relief when they told me, but when he told me, he like told me and he was like, "You have glioblastoma," right? And I was like, "Okay." And he looked at my wife and I, and he was like, "Why aren't you freaking out?" So he told me, and I was already prepared, I guess, because I mean it's sucked, but I was like, the second he said it, I was like, now I have a face. Now I put a face to the name, and now I know who the fuck I want to like, whose ass I want to kick,
Right.
right? Um, and I'm not saying that to be tough guy because it sucked, but that was my thought process. It was like, now I know who I need to go after, right? It's like a kid in school, like someone fucks with you, you're gonna go after them. And it was the same. It was the same mentality. I mean, it was
So were you doing, like, a lot of research on it, how you could beat it and stuff like that? Or were you just listening to the doctors? I'm sure you were researching the hell out of it, and your wife was too. I mean,
yeah,
I would.
we were researching the hell out of it, and the thing is, you put in glioblastoma into a Google search, and it comes back, you're dead, right? Like there is
Yeah.
no.
So
I mean,
probably better not to look it up then in that case.
Just ads for funeral homes on the side of the page.
right? It's basically Google, if you Google fucking grilled cheese sandwich, you're 2 clicks away from dead. You know, it's not the best resource, but it does have. I mean, you can go down different wormholes and fucking try to
with
find
anything, probably.
right. But at the end of the day, it all just came up with like no cure. So I started researching just holistic things, right? Like holistic things I could do. And I started implementing those things kind of straight away. Like I went strictly vegan. I really only ate raw fruits and vegetables for basically the first year, right? Like that was it. And like I learned about like chlorella, which is like a type of algae, and spirulina and wheatgrass and all this shit, and really kind of got onto this whole holistic like.
So yeah, you were attacking it with like herbal stuff, like natural things,
Right.
not prescribed drugs over the counter.
Well, no, I did. So
You-
I did chemo and radiation, right? I did chemo and radiation for 6 weeks,
Mhm.
and I worked the whole fucking time. And
Jesus.
so I would go to my chemo radiation appointment. I'd get done with that. Like I'd go. Well, the chemo I would take as a pill. It's called Tamidar, right?
Hmm.
And you take it as a pill, and then I would go to radiation, and they'd fucking microwave my head for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or whatever, and then
That's
I'd
wild.
drive straight to work and work an 8-hour shift.
How
Oh
do
my
they?
God.
How can they do that, and the rest of your brain be okay?
I don't know.
You
I
just
don't know.
show up
Maybe
working
just
a shift at Home Depot by accident. Like,
I know. I was like, 6 months later, I was like, I probably don't even work here. I'm probably just mumbling around. And you guys just let me think that I'm like the manager of this place.
My grandfather has cancer right now. I wish he had a mentality. He just grew up in a different time period, I think.
Well, I think a lot of people listen when someone tells you you're fucked. People listen. Whenever anybody's told me I was fucked, I proved them wrong.
Yeah.
Like every time someone told me I couldn't do something, I went and did it, whether that was for good or for bad, but I pulled it off. You know,
Mm.
and that's just the way I am. And when someone tells me you're gonna die, I'm like, no, I'm not.
Hey, fuck
And
you,
I'm
guy.
serious. I believe it and I mean it. And
Yeah.
I'm going on 3.5
Is
years now.
is
So
that mentality from being a rocker? Or is it just how
no,
you
the
grew up? Or
the rocker part came from that mentality.
oh, okay. So that started
Like,
before that then.
yeah, we all kind of grew up, like Jay and my sister Camille and I. We all kind of grew up a little with our middle fingers up.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I noticed that.
Not, and that's it's our parents. I love my mom. I love my dad. I'm not like we weren't beaten as kids or anything, but we all had this little streak in us that was kind of like, nah, you can't tell me what the fuck to do.
Mhm. Yep.
Um,
Yeah, I've seen the how it would have made a great sitcom if there were cameras in your house growing up.
yeah,
So there are some silly times in that house.
yes, to say the least.
Yeah.
My brother was probably orchestrator of most of it because I split when I was 15. I split
Yeah.
home when I was 15. So Jay orchestrated a lot of the fuckery that went on later, but that house was always full of just crazy shit.
Yeah. What was the like the first inclination you had that something was wrong? Was it something like you just felt off? You felt like, did you start feeling like dizzy or out of sorts, or was it like a random health checkup you had that you had blood work done? Someone said, "Hey, this doesn't look right," or like what kind of gave you an inclination that something wasn't right?
People started telling me that I seemed drunk all the time, right? And I mean, I used to drink all the time, but
Yeah,
they would tell me they would ask if I was drunk, like when I hadn't been drinking at all. But no, what are you talking about? And I always kind of slurred normally, but I guess I was slurring more and more. And and then I started kind of catching on to what they were talking about. Like I couldn't, little things here and there. Like I couldn't really think right. Um, little problems with my balance and stuff like that, but nothing that really struck a chord. And then one day I was talking, my mom called and she told me that she and my stepdad had just had some tests done and they didn't come back good, right? And she was pretty upset. And I remember just thinking, like, what the fuck, both of you? Like, I just lost my dad, so it was my mom and my stepdad.
yeah,
I just lost my dad, and I just lost my best friend, right? Lenny.
yeah.
And so I was sitting there, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? I was sitting at the top of the stairs, and when I stood up, my phone went off, and it was my buddy Rich. And as I started reading the text, like it was a text from my buddy Rich, and as I was reading the text, I stopped being able to read. And I was like, what the fuck? And like within 30 seconds, I got super lightheaded and I just hit the floor. And I
Jesus.
tried calling out to my wife, and I was like, I couldn't.
Was that a stroke?
It wasn't, but you would think it was, right? Saying like if you saw it happen, you'd be like, dude, Scotty's having a stroke, right? Like that was the same complications.
Yeah.
So I hit the ground. Honey comes up. I managed to tell her call 911, right? And like when I say manage, I mean it took everything in me to figure out how to say call 911, right? So she calls 911. They show up. They take my blood pressure and all this stuff. And they're like, your blood pressure's fine. She tells them that, I had just talked to my parents and, they told me that something was wrong with them. And the paramedics thought I was just having a really bad panic attack. But they were like, let's just take you to the hospital and, let's get you checked out. So they put me in the ambulance. We go to the hospital. And like, dude, you can see like my chest beating through my shirt. Like it looked like Alien was trying to bust out of my sweatshirt.
Yeah.
It was terrifying, right? My chest was literally like trying to jump out of my sweatshirt. And my arm was convulsing to where like without controlling it, it was pulling up to like my right arm was pulling up to the top of my bicep and making a fist. And I wasn't doing it. My body was just seizuring, right?
Yeah.
And so they take me to the hospital and they're just talking me down. And they're like, you're just having a panic attack. You're just having a panic attack. They give me some Valium and try to chill me out. And I finally calmed down, and they do all this, like, they didn't do any blood work or anything like that. They were just checking my vitals. And I calmed down and it kind of went away. And they just chalked it up to I was having panic attack.
Sound like doctors from the 1840s. It's like, oh, you just have hay fever, son.
Yes.
Here's some cocaine.
Yeah. Take some Peloton and call me in the morning.
Yeah.
Which is basically what they did.
How about some whiskey?
Yeah. They gave me some I don't know, ibuprofen and like sleeping aid and sent me home.
Oh man.
And within like they were like, you'll be fine in a couple days. It could take a week, right? And within a couple days, I'm like, nah, you know what? I'm not really feeling that good, guys. So I call my doctor. He's like, Scott, you just had a really bad panic attack. Everything's gonna be fine. You'll come out of this. Sometimes people, you can have a panic attack so bad that you die from it. And I was like, okay, but I'm telling you right now, I feel fucked. And they were like, well, call us in a couple days if you don't feel good. Within about a span of 3 weeks, like I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, couldn't read, I couldn't write, I couldn't walk up the stairs. I couldn't make a peanut butter jelly sandwich. And when I say I couldn't make a peanut butter jelly sandwich, I mean I picked up a piece of bread, right? And I picked up the peanut butter and a knife, and I looked at my wife and said, I don't know how to do this. Like I couldn't put the steps together to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
What did
It's so
she
fucking
think? What did she
crazy.
say?
She said, you have to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So I was still trying to make it through work at this point. I was still trying to go to work. And
Where did you work?
I was a manager for a place called Sebago Brewing Company. Like I was it's a brew pub,
Mhm.
right? I was managing a brew pub. And like they kept telling me like, dude, you have to go to the hospital. We're just going to take you to the hospital right now. And I kept somehow being able to like pull it together enough to get through the shift. And I was like, no, I'm fine. They keep telling me I'm fine. They just, give me
No,
some
guys,
food.
I'm just drunk. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Don't worry about it, guys. I'm just wasted.
Yeah.
um,
Damn,
Yeah.
dude.
What did they think? Did they think you were fucked up or something?
yeah, they all thought I was fucked up. They all thought it, and I mean, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
They didn't know what was going on. I
Well,
mean, dude, I would be at work, and then the next thing I know, I'd be at home sitting on the couch, and I'd like kind of come to like you do when you black out.
yeah.
Right? I would kind of
That's
come
crazy.
to and just be like, whoa.
And
just lost, like,
you drove
moments of your
yourself
life.
home from work and just don't remember it.
I drove yeah, I don't remember it because
Oh my
I would
God.
like literally like come to on the couch, and I'd be like, man, do I have some apology phone calls to make or something? Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? And it'd be like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I don't know how long I'd be sitting there. I don't know, how I got home. The car's in the driveway, so I must have drove myself home. Like, did I just get home and fall asleep?
So
And
does this stuff still happen, or is this is
no,
all
no,
done with?
that's all done with.
Okay, that's good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they took it out, and you said you were singing when you woke up, so you got a little bit, you got your shindig back. Could you pick up an instrument and start playing again?
That was the first thing I did when I got home.
So what instrument? A bass guitar or regular? You play
Regular.
both?
I play both, but I picked up a regular guitar, and I just started playing. And it was actually easier than it had been for a while. Now they think that I may have had that tumor for like 2
For a
years.
long time. Yeah.
Right.
Oh wow.
So were you playing? So do you think that you were playing concerts or something like that while you had a tumor in your head?
Yeah, because there was definitely my playing started getting kind of sloppy, and I just figured it was because I hadn't been playing as much. But I
Which
started.
band was this in?
This was just when I was doing my solo shit. This was after,
Okay.
well after I had been in bands and stuff.
How many? You've been in a couple bands, correct?
Yes, yes, I have quite a few.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, last time I saw you guys was right after you released When We Were Kings.
Right.
So you guys playing Philly. That was a fucking awesome show.
And
And
dude, that was the same year.
yeah,
By
that
the
would have been right before.
by the end of that year, that was February. By December, I was fucked.
Wow.
So I probably had it actually when the last time I saw you.
Yeah.
You know.
That's so crazy, man.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have known it watching you play, dude. That was a really, really good show. And actually, when I was hanging with you guys, I was like, I really want to hear Turning Ashes tonight. I can't wait to hear it. You're like, oh, that's actually the one song we're not playing. I was just kind of, dude. Oh, right, we'll play it anyway. And you gave me a little shout out on stage. I really appreciated that.
Good. So we did play it. Awesome.
Yeah. No, that was a great show, man.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I think that may have been the last show we played.
Was it really?
I think that was the last show we
The
played.
last show you guys played together?
Wow.
Like the last show we played. Like the last time we were on stage together was probably that show.
Wow.
I think that was the last show of everything. I think that was like the okay, we're done, and then we were gonna set up more stuff, and I just started feeling like
Yeah.
like something was up. Like
Can you take us back to where you started becoming a musician, and talk about basically how you started, talk about where you went from there, where'd you tour, stuff like that, because I don't know you as well. Like I said, I know your brother. I don't know you as well as Mike does, so I'm kind of
Right.
interested to hear about some of your background with that. So
well, I started playing guitar when I was 14. I was on the football team, right? I was on the Emmaus Junior High football team. I was good at it, but I wasn't like, my heart wasn't in it, right? And was saving up. Something in me was just like, I want to play guitar, right? And like I wanted to be Slash, right? And I'd started getting into punk rock that summer, and all these things just kind of started getting me really interested in music. So instead of reading my playbook for football, I would just kind of sit in my room and read guitar magazines and stuff like that. And then I saved up this whole summer and bought my first guitar.
what'd you get?
It was called Lady Luck, right? And it was a Martin Company, like,
Acoustic?
no, it was electric. It looked like a Fender.
Okay.
It looked like a Strat, right? But it was like what Squire is to Fender is what Lady Luck was to Martin. I
okay.
think, right? I got it at J&S fucking
Oh shit, I remember that place.
Yeah.
music shop, right?
I think I took lessons there. That's where I took guitar lessons.
Yeah, man, that's where everybody took lessons.
For
Except me.
like a year.
But I never took lessons, but I took lessons from a kid who was taking lessons at J&S. Like, he would call me. It was
You're
this
getting
guy,
sloppy seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was this guy, Jim Perez, that would call me. Like, I got my guitar, right? I got a C in math class, and my mom kicked me out of football, right? And the coaches like called my mom and were like, "You're making a mistake. We'll get him a tutor." And my mom was like, "No, he needs to learn how to study," right? So
That's like something a college says. Oh, we'll get him a tutor. They really wanted you on the team, I guess.
they did. I was good. I've always had this little bit of like aggression in me, and I would like.
What position did you play?
I played fullback and defensive end.
Okay.
So my mom takes me out of football. So now all I have is this guitar, and all I did was sit and learn how to play guitar. And Chappie, or Jim Perez, aka Chappie, who was like my best friend at the time, would we'd watch this show called Headbangers Ball. It was on at midnight
Yeah.
on Saturday nights on MTV, and like he'd call me and relay to me his lesson that he had at J&S Music Shop over the phone, and I'd learn like Nirvana songs and shit from him telling me what I should be playing. And then I realized that like I had an ear for it. Like if I heard something, I could play it back. And within like I don't know, within a month I started writing my own songs. And then
when you were 14.
Yeah, when I was at 14. And then my parents made me go to Lutheran youth group, right? And I went kicking and screaming. I was like, fuck this. You know, you're not going to make me go to church. And they made me go to church, right? And as I'm sitting in church, this fucking long-haired dude with a ministry t-shirt comes in and sits down behind the church. Like
in church.
He sits down at our church. There was a band set up, right? And the drummer comes in and he sits down and he's wearing like a ministry's t-shirt. And I was like, who the fuck is this kid? Right? And he's like, dude, my age. And like this God band starts playing, but the drummer is definitely like not, he's not praising the shit out of Jesus. You know, he's on some different shit. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And then this other super long haired dude walks in, and I was kind of looking around like, okay, I'm what the hell's going on? And they said like after the service, they send you downstairs to the actual youth group. And I meet Jared Fretz and David Yopst, who have this band together. And we become best friends. You know, like the three of us become best friends, and I joined their band. So that was like, I don't know, that was the January after I had started playing guitar. So we got into a band pretty fucking quick.
Yeah.
And then
me and Jay, your brother again, Jay, we started our band when we were like 13 or 14.
Smoker and the Rollers?
No. That was we were called Worthless to Society. We had one original song called Worthless to Society, and then we did I think like 2 Deftones covers and some Operation Ivy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember what like the first time I met Jay, I was at Spring Creek Park. Was it? And I had a portable boombox, and he just walks up and he's like, "What are you listening to?" I'm like, no, I'm like nothing you've ever heard of. And so I pop open the CD. So I pop it open, and I pop open the tape deck, and it's my copy of Descendants All. He's like, dude, holy shit, I love Descendants. I'm like, really? Me too? He's like, yeah, bro, let's go hang out. I'm like, all right.
So like how you got your lisp down pretty good.
Yeah.
That's the Gay Smoker lisp. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we made it together after that. Oh man, but dude, we tried so hard to be a fucking badass rock band when we were like 14. It was so funny.
Yeah.
But oh my god, I love those days, man. That was so great.
It was the best, man.
But
the first
Roam in the
show I ever
Woods.
played was at a fucking Emmaus Junior High dance, and it was me and Jared and Dave and this guy Mike, and I just remember getting stoned on the football field before we went and played, and it was the best feeling I've ever had. Like that was
cheering.
it. That's all I wanted to do from then on.
Yeah. So have you been talking to like Roger and Andy and Larry and them, try to get the old band back together for some new shit?
Yes, and I have. It took me a while to be able to write again, right? So, and I finally have been able to get it together. Like I could write music again, and it's weird because the music part comes more naturally than it did before now. Like it, not naturally. That's the wrong word. It's I hear music different now.
Yeah.
Um, there's like this sound I have in my head that's different than it was before.
Hmm.
But
Is
I've
that just from
also,
being a survivor of something
I don't
that
know. I mean, it it
you
it
took
has.
for granted, maybe something, and now you're not? Maybe.
Well, I listen to like a lot of classical music now, right? Like
Hmm.
there's a lot of
Awesome.
like Philip Glass and stuff like that, right?
Britney Spears,
Right,
Yeah,
Britney
old school.
Spears. That
technically
old,
classical, if you think about it.
right, right. um, but not like I feel it's gonna sound weird, and I hope this comes out right. But I've learned how to fill the spaces in the songs differently than I used to. Like
Yeah.
I just hear it different, right? Like, and it when I play it for the guys, they're usually kind of like, "What? How does that doesn't make sense, but it makes sense at the same time."
Yeah.
Uh, but they've really been pushing to do something again as long as I felt up to it, and I've gotten to the point where like I've gotten my body taken care of, I've gotten my mind taken care of, and now it's time to actually do something with that. Like there's no point in busting your ass to fix yourself if you're not going to do anything with it.
Exactly. Good, man. Good, good, good.
So,
So, do you think now, with kind of a sad irony, that now that you guys would be potentially up to, getting back writing together and maybe starting playing some shit out, there are no venues, like,
Yeah.
because of COVID, and that's just gonna stifle
Well,
things even further.
they're
Are you
open now.
guys
They're
kind
open.
of?
Well, 15% capacity indoors. You live in Pennsylvania still,
no,
Scott?
I haven't lived in Pennsylvania
Oh, okay.
for
Well, maybe your state's completely open.
no. I live in Maine, right?
Okay,
And we
maybe it's
actually
completely
had
shut down.
what's that?
I don't know. I think what's Maine? Is Maine's pretty shut down still?
We shut down hardcore straight off the bat.
Yeah.
And ours we had one of the lowest rates in the country, right? So we actually didn't do that bad. Um, Venues and stuff still aren't open. They're talking about opening everything soon. Um, there's like a weird law though that you can't sing inside uh, because
There will be
this
no happiness inside.
yes, there
Yeah.
will be no happiness, only pain and misery. Uh,
You think you could get away with the band itself playing on stage and you just doing a Zoom performance or a hologram like they did with Tupac,
right.
Oh, there you go.
or that old NXS video where the guy is just holding the cue cards with the lyrics on it and just flipping them as they go through the song.
I love best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know it. Wait. Wait, what did you say?
Oh man. But yeah, dude, definitely keep on writing. Um, like I know you don't like the old where do your lyrics come from question, but are you gonna kind of incorporate, everything you've been through in the last year, or last 3 years into what you're writing now?
I have to.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, it's funny because after I wrote When We Were Kings, um, I hit like a writer's block because I didn't feel like I had anything else to say. You know, because I like When We Were Kings was kind of written about um, dealing with all the shit that I'd been through up to that point. Like it was an apology letter to a lot of people. It was, you know, making right things that I just things within myself. And after I got all of that out and kind of it was like singing about the wreckage of the past in a more mature um, mind frame, right? And after I got all that out, I was like, now what do I sing about? I'm like a dad with a 9 to 5 and a
And
house,
then life just upped the old ante on you, didn't it?
right? And
Yeah.
life is like, oh, you're
You can't really
comfortable,
be angry about that.
Yeah.
So can
We're not.
can you happy sing? Like can you anger sing happily? Is that even a thing?
you can't, you
Yeah.
cannot do it. You can, but it's comedic, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
So what's
yeah.
the
Now,
new style then?
what's
You know,
that?
you're gonna have to come up with a new style. You said earlier you were kind of playing a little differently, and you heard different sounds and stuff like that. So does a new style come along with that?
Yes, new style comes along with it, and it's cool because it's actually the style that I've been. It's the natural progression of where I wanted to go, but I didn't know how to get there until now. Which I mean, that makes total sense. But like, it took that incident to kind of have me hone in on this sound that I hear, right? And that I didn't hear this sound, and this sounds so weird and enigmatic, and I don't mean it to.
Well, I think you kind of you have a very creative energy about you. Like I think you can like you kind of earn your sound. You know what I mean? It's not
Thank
a cookie cutter like kind of sound. It's your self in it. And I think that that really rubs off on everybody that they know you're an authentic writer and performer, and you have so much fucking energy on stage. It's unbelievable. It's a really good show to watch, and I hope you guys get back on stage. And the When We Were Kings album, when the first time I listened through that, I was like, fuck yes, dude, this is so goddamn good. It's from start to finish, just so much energy, and it's heavy, and it's uh, really solid flow through the album, and it's there's no like down time to it. It's just keeps fucking rolling till the end. It's so good, dude.
Well, thank you, dude.
Yeah.
That's I really love that record, and that was kind of another thing. I was like, it kind of that's something else that kind of added to the little bit of writer's block I had was like, how the fuck do I like even I'm pretty critical on the shit that I write, but that record I was like, oh, I actually really like this one. Like
Yeah.
this is good.
It's that
And
yellow Schecter bass, man. That thing is fucking magic.
that thing is fucking magic. Roger won't play anything else actually.
Dude,
Every time
so
he comes up, he'll bring up like a different bass and he'll just pick up the Schecter because it fucking sounds great, plays great, and it's the only instrument I have from being in a band that I didn't sell.
yeah,
Like I
dude,
sold everything else, some of it for you know
we've all been there.
drugs, some of
Some of
it
it.
to make rent. That's the only It's the only instrument that I kept from all that, and I love that thing. That's like my it's got its own personality.
Yeah.
That and I have a Les Paul that I used with the Sinatras. Like those two guitars Like I can talk to them,
Yeah.
you know.
When me and Jay were living together in Philly, I guess he had borrowed it from you for a little bit because it was in our practice space, and I wrote every song off of my solo album and a bunch of other shit that I recorded on his shitty Mac computer.
Yeah.
Probably 12 to 15 songs that I recorded the bass for, like the very basic ideas of on that bass.
Well, that's the thing with that bass, and that's what I love about guitars. And I've kind of got this theory that, at least for me, I connect with the guitar when I can pull a song out of it, right? Like I can pick up a guitar that's like beautiful and set up perfect and looks awesome and it's cool as shit, and I can't pull a song out of it, right? But I can pull like that bass. There's a couple guitars I have that I can pick it up and just write a song with that guitar, and I feel like I'm pulling something out of that. Like those guitars have souls, and I'm fucking tapping into whatever energy that guitar has. And
Yeah.
holy shit, I sound like some fucking.
I'm pretty sure Jimi Hendrix wrote a song about that.
What's that?
Probably Jimi Hendrix.
I'm pretty sure he wrote his.
That was him.
Dude, I just built my very own custom guitar. It's a 7-string multi-scale, like $400 pickups in it, set up perfectly.
By Mike Schramm. Schramm Guitars. Schramm Guitars. Westchester, Pennsylvania.
Beautiful guitar, painted it myself. I haven't connected with it yet. I've not written one good thing on it. It hasn't spoken to me yet. I'm
It'll
hoping to
speak to
break
you
through
someday,
there.
Mike. You just have to wait a little bit, okay?
I know,
All good
but I
things
have
come to those who wait.
I have a nice Fender Strat that when I play it, I just play it flawlessly, and I can just sit there for hours with it.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here! What fucking warming up? Get out of here!
And then I get stabbed in my brainstem with a screwdriver by Joe Pesci.
Your guitar's watching you at all times.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
don't sleep. It's gonna get
But
you.
man, it's the instruments really are an extension of yourself. I really do believe that.
Yeah, they are. That was what made me love playing so much, is I could make that black Lady Luck fucking guitar that I bought for $100 at JNS fucking music shop. Right? I could make that thing sound the way that I felt, and like I couldn't express the way I felt. I would just pick up this guitar and I'd be like, oh fuck, that's exactly how I feel. And like it just became like a total extension of me, and I didn't put that thing down. Like I would come home and go to my room, and my mom thought I was studying and shit, and I'd just be sitting there learning songs off the radio on the guitar. So I feel like that guitar is the reason why I can only write with certain instruments.
Yeah.
Like I felt such a bond with that guitar. If I don't bond with the guitar, I can't. Like, I'll sell it, whatever.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've gone through so many drum sets over the years. Like, I would never keep a kit for more than like 3-4 months at a time. I had a absolutely beautiful Yamaha Maple custom kit, like a $3,000 kit that I kept for 2 years, and in the depth of bad decisions, I pawned it for $200 at a pawn shop in Philly.
Did you buy crack with that money, Mike?
I spent all of it. I spent all of it on booze. Every fucking
Holy
dollar.
shit, dude.
The kit, all my cymbals, everything. And
you could buy a 40 ounce for $3, right?
I know.
what
You have to understand how much I drank.
Jay
But
sold some of my shit for booze.
Yep. But
Wow.
dude, that was probably the biggest regret I've ever had with any kind of musical equipment. Was there anything that you got rid of that you just want back so bad, but you can't have it back?
62 Fender Bassman.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I did. It was original.
What's that worth now?
A few grand at least.
Yeah.
When I got it, it didn't have a faceplate, right? So I got it cheap, and cheap was $1,000.
Yeah.
Right. It didn't have a faceplate, and it looked like someone had put a cigarette out on the top, but it sounded amazing, and it looked cool as shit. It looked dirty. It sounded fucking like it sounded amazing, and I sold it for a $200 like solid state Marshall head because I thought it wasn't fucking. I couldn't take it on tour because it was so touchy, right? And I just traded it straight up because I did like that, and that was one that I was like I had bonded with it, like, but I needed money to do this tour, so it was either, the bass amp or the tour.
Yeah.
And I got rid of the bass head. It was a head. It wasn't a bass amp. But that thing, every day I'm like, dude, fuck. Like,
Yep.
you could have done something. You could have come up with some money somehow.
Yeah. I try to avoid going on like eBay and Reverb to see what the kit I had is now going for, because I did that last year, and for some reason that specific kit I had has like tripled in fucking value.
Yeah.
And I absolutely fucking hate myself for getting rid of it.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It makes me physically angry to think about it. So I'm gonna get off that fucking subject right now. Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow, man. But dude, overall, man, like I'm really glad, you like, thank you for taking the time to talk to us tonight, man. It's I know a lot of people have been waiting for an update on you and how you're doing. If the band's getting back together, I think we solved a few questions there, and I'm really glad you're back at it, healthy, and just fucking, like I said, I see your Facebook, you're running every day, and just keeping yourself in a good spot, man. Just please keep it going, because we need a new album soon.
Yeah, keep it real, and invite us to when venues do open up. Let us come listen.
Well, we'll be down. Awesome. We'll be down there for sure. I mean, that's definitely going to be.
I'll come up there, man. Are you close to Bar Harbor? Bar Harbor.
We're on the way from Philly to Bar Harbor. We're on the way.
Somewhere in between there.
Yes, we're in southern Maine. Bar Harbor is a little northern. I'm right by Portland. I'm right by Portland, Maine.
Okay. I've been to Maine a couple of times, dude. You can get out in like the middle of nowhere, like off the coast of Maine, and you literally go outside, and it's like the silence is it's like deafening. You can hear how bad your hearing is when you stand outside in the middle of the night in the middle of nowhere in Maine.
I love it.
You can see
Colorado
everything in
like
the sky.
But Maine is amazing.
If
I were to live in, there's two spots in the United States that I would like to live in. One's Maine, one's Colorado.
Two good spots.
Keep it cold. It's pretty dry in Colorado, so
you get some of that wacky weed.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know how long you could stay in that dry atmosphere. But
takes an hour to boil water.
Yeah, it takes, dude. You can't even have fires there. I mean, we tried starting fires in a fireplace 9,000 feet up in the Rockies.
Yeah,
it took us forever to start that.
Gee whiz.
That's why I don't know how forest fires go through there like crazy. It's the guy like somebody has to be really putting a torch to that fucking shit.
Planet Earth wants us dead, and it's doing its best. So just lay off, all right?
It's trying.
All right, Scotty, dude, thank you again for coming on. You're welcome back anytime. And just keep fucking going at it, man.
Awesome. Thank you guys very much for having me on. Blast
bet.
talking to you.
Join the boys next week for another round of unprepared conversation. For episode segments, extras, and upcoming guest interviews, check out 2Ds and an F podcast pages on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Full-length episodes are available on YouTube, Spotify, and just about everywhere other podcasts are found. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The 2Ds and an F podcast is a Dunnsound production.